Well, thank you very much, Cindy. That's awesome. And thanks, Ken, for inviting me as well, another fellow dream worker. Um, yeah, what a wonderful group. Wow, I like this so much already. This is really I feel so warm and fuzzy inside. So what a nice start. So yeah, my name, as Cindy said, is Carla Cilvik. And yeah, I've been a dream worker since 2019. And that was because I took a course. I took a 3 month super intensive course through this Edgar Cayce Association. Their center is actually in Virginia Beach. This course was virtual. And, I've been a dreamer, like a big, vivid dreamer my whole life since I was a kid. And I never knew what my dreams meant. I had no idea. And as a teenager, I started journaling and I had a lot of, again, big, strong, vivid dreams. Still had no idea what they meant. Go through college, get out of college, and here I am with all my journals and all my papers. And then I'm wondering, what do I do with all this? Then this course comes along. I take the course, and it pretty much blew everything I knew about dreams out of the water. Um, and really got me to see that there's so much value, there's so much um, just information within our nightly dreams. And once I had a couple, what I like to call big dreams, and really worked with them and had some big epiphanies, which I'll share one of those dreams with you soon. That's where I felt, wow, I have to share this. It felt like a responsibility. I now felt responsible to let people know, like bring this awareness of the dreaming mind. Just put it out there, that dreams aren't just random messages and uh, meaningless messages that we, hear at night and crazy symbols. So everything has a meaning, everything has depth, and all of your dreams are there to help you heal. But anyway, that's how I got into doing this. And ever since, yeah, it's just been a nice progression, and I've been learning and growing, and here I am. And the name of my business is Falling Awake, which is cool because it comes from a song. Well, it also is like a great, falling asleep, falling awake, but it's also from a song from one of my favorite singers. Her name is Tarja Turunen, and she is Finnish, and that's the second song that I chose for you guys to listen to. It's a rock song, but I love her voice, I love her lyrics, so you'll get to hear the song that inspired the name for my business. I hate to even call it a business, just feels weird, but I mean, I do it for money. So I will share my website with you in the chat, and you could contact me. I do individual sessions. Let's see, I'll put that in here now. So there you could sign up for a newsletter that I do. I have a blog. And yes, I do individual sessions, half hour, whatever it takes, and where we sit down and we work through a dream together. So hopefully after I share more, some of you may be inclined to check it out and explore one of your dreams. And maybe I should say right away, I'm very aware that a lot of people don't remember their dreams. A lot of people say they forget them. A lot of people say they don't dream, which kind of isn't true. Everybody dreams, you just don't remember. So I also have some handy tricks and tips for that. And I also have a physical handout. I can't physically give it to you, so I'm going to put my email here. And if you would like to reach out to me for that and anything else, I'll be sure to send my dream tip handout to you. So I think that's all about myself. I'll get into sharing more about dreams. It's such a big, vast world. I can't share everything, of course, but I definitely believe. Oh, and by the way, so I don't have any. I hope it's okay that I don't have any slides or anything. Like I'm just going to talk to you all. So okay, you have to look at my beautiful face here. Hopefully my voice is okay. So yeah, to me, dreams are much more than what psychologists view as like memory processing and filing away of events that happened during the day. Um, and I also think they're more than what Freud said, that they're wish fulfillments and sexual desires and all of these crazy things, he had his purpose. He did good for where he was at, but I personally align more with Carl Jung's view on dreams. And his view is that they're showing us our inner selves. So the parts of us, the ego, the consciousness represses. So Jung's viewpoint is that our dreams show us how to balance the conscious and subconscious and ultimately integrate them both into our lives. His view is on the collective unconscious, where many symbols and archetypes are universally shared and recognized. That all resonates with me as well. And archetypes are like your dream characters that everyone kind of recognizes, like a hero or a wise woman, an elder, like what am I trying to say? Like the trickster, that's one. So if you think of like even tarot cards, they're practically archetypes. So there's a whole lot there. So within that, the collective unconscious may contribute and offer a lot of insight to dreams, but there's even a deeper level. So dreams pinpoint specific areas of life to work on. They provide solutions to specific issues and ultimately guide us toward being our best selves. I always like to say, from the author and also dream pioneer Jeremy Taylor, he says, all dreams come in the service of health and wholeness. So, like I said, they're guiding us and leading us toward good, deeper insights. And they offer deep healing of past and current issues, trauma, and just insights to move forward positively with whatever's going on currently in your life. Typically, dreams will be about whatever's going on currently in your life. If you're struggling with a relationship, a job, just personal stuff that you're keeping inside, that you're not speaking, your dreams will definitely, I like to say, they call you out. You can't hide from your dreams. You can't hide from your subconscious. They call you out on what's there to be seen, what's there to be known. And again, not to harm you, not to scold you, not to tell you you're wrong. They're definitely, they might seem, when you have a nightmare and something more traumatizing, you might say, whoa, that was awful. I didn't like that. I want to ignore it, slam the door and walk away. But those are the dreams that are trying to get your attention more. They're knocking on the door of your consciousness saying, hey, here's this thing that you haven't dealt with. Here's this thing you haven't looked at more deeply. Like now is the time to do that. So I strongly believe that dreams come at the perfect time, when you're ready, when you need them. Um, the universe, God, whoever you want to say, provides the dreams. I think they come just at that perfect time. You're provided with them when you're ready. Like, the universe, your subconscious knows more than your consciousness when you're ready to deal with something, even though it might not seem like that on the outside. So speaking of that, that depth, that healing, and all of that. So I want to share my first big dream that got me to really heal a lot of my childhood trauma. I don't want to share the whole dream because it's kind of longer, but I do have it in a blog, which is on my website. So if you wanted to read the whole blog, you can. But the gist of this dream is that I'm there. Well, I'm not there. There's a younger girl there, and there's a teenager girl there. And we're in like a living room, and there's a teenage guy and then an older guy. And we're all hanging out. The scene transitions to underwater. So now the teenage girl is underwater with the teenage guy. She's wearing this big one of those old school like diving scuba helmets, and they're just talking. And I'm watching. It's like, so as from my point of view, I'm watching the girl. So I'm watching the girl talk to the guy. And suddenly the girl just starts screaming and she yells, I can't take it anymore. And she rips this metal thing off of a wall and starts smashing the helmet. And she's stabbing herself in the neck. And so I'm just seeing the blood rise in the water. I'm seeing her anguish, the intensity on her face. she's killing herself. And it's just really startling and shocking. And after she kills herself, the other girl in the scene, the young one, who's about maybe like 8, 9, or 10, she leaves, and now the scene shifts, and we're back like in a living room setting. People are sitting around, and we're kind of mourning that loss of the teen girl. And then a song starts to play, and I recognize the song in the dream. And the song is a song from my favorite band called Nightwish, whom that singer I mentioned earlier was the singer for this band way back. And the song is sung in Finnish. And then some more things happen, and then I wake up and I'm like, whoa, that was just really intense. That was frightening. It was disturbing. What the heck was that all about? So I sat on this one for a few days. I didn't work with it. Um, but when I did start to work on it, I'm like, well, I killed myself. So it's like kind of like, oh, things that already happened. So I was going down that path. Like, okay, maybe it's about my life, because I already had gone through some transformations. And I was talking with my fiance Dave, and I said, well, I already know these things. They already happened. And then Dave told me a wonderful thing that got a lot of things to click. He said, time isn't linear, remember? And I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. And then the whole world fell in around me. I just felt like the wind was just sucked out of me. It was just profound. And what I got from that dream was that I did kill off me. Like, I was the teenage girl. I was also the younger girl in the dream. And I ended up killing off an old part of me. And in some, parallel universe, different timeline, whatever you want to call it, or upon reincarnation, I realized that I would never, ever, ever have to live through the same struggles again. They were gone, they were eradicated. And that young girl was watching this. So she now got to see that she had this whole life ahead of her, this whole big, just open space and freedom. And so being underwater to me was a metaphor for being in unfamiliar territory. The teen version of me needed a helmet because she wasn't in her element. Water is an element. And water often symbolizes emotions too. So yeah, it was huge. And then I thought of the song. I'm like, wait, this song sung in Finnish on this album that came out, and it came out in 2004, actually, way back. And after that, even though I listened to it 1,000 times, I had never, ever, ever translated it, never looked it up. So, of course, after the dream, what do? I look it up. And of course, the lyrics seem to be perfect. And the song, um, is called Death of an Artist. So right there, it has death in the title. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's perfect. And the one line in it is roughly translated to, my Lord, to you, let me become what my child thinks I am. I'm like, oh, wow, let me become what my child thinks I am. Let me become what my inner child thinks I am. That inner child who watched her future self die so that she could then become the vibrant soul who was watching everything. And yeah, so it was just very, very, very powerful. And once I realized all that, and I had a couple more dreams after that, like big ones. And then I never had those intense dreams again. Once I got through that and healed, they died down. That's another cool aspect of dream work. If you have recurring nightmares or just recurring dreams, again, that's something that needs attention. And it's really cool because once you work with it, once you acknowledge your subconscious and get those messages, your subconscious then acknowledges you and says, wow, you got the message. Awesome. I'll check this one off. Time to bring in some new dreams. So that's a really cool aspect of dream work. And I think one of the most important aspects in dreams and dream work is that all of your dreams speak to you in a language that only you will understand or that's unique to you. All of your symbols, all of your characters, your settings, every detail in your dream is going to pertain to you. Meaning, when it comes down to it, not me, not any other dream worker in the whole world cannot interpret the dream for you. That's an often a misconception of what I do. When I do the expos and things, people run up to me and they say, I had this dream. Oh, it was crazy. Tell me what it means. And they want this like instant answer, like instant gratification. And I have to apologize and say, hey guys, this isn't how this works. It's actually, it's a deep, it's an inner journey, you know. We have to work with it. We have to talk about it. You have to explore. So yeah, when you practice your own dream work, you develop your own personal dream language. And when you reflect on your dreams and you take that deeper dive and you take the time to go into them, you learn more about yourself and how your dreams are specifically communicating to you. So, for example, like if I were, if I looked out the window in a dream and saw a bird, whatever kind of bird it was, might mean something to me specifically. Maybe it was a relative's favorite bird, or maybe it was a bird that I loved. But to you, I don't know, maybe you don't like that bird, or maybe, yeah, just that symbol would mean something different to you personally. So that's why I don't really encourage dream dictionaries or Google or good old AI right now. While, yes, you can get a lot of information through all of those things, only you know the answers. So again, I like to encourage people to work with them on their own or talk to somebody like me or Ken or whoever's out there, a human being, not an AI robot, to really work through it. And there's different ways to work with dreams. You don't have to just sit there and think about it because that's not really going to get you too far. Um, there's I like one of like the easiest thing I like to do is look at my symbols and I'll write them down. And then I like to do what I call word association. So for whatever symbol I see, so maybe like in that other dream, it would be the helmet. And if I wasn't sure what that meant, I would write down everything that comes to mind when I think of a scuba helmet or when I think of being underwater. Um, and then from there, I can kind of narrow down like, okay, so this resonates and this seems to fit and this connects with waking life. Okay, cool. So it's just like taking pieces of a puzzle and you take them and you kind of want to narrow down what your symbols mean. I also like that you could personify your symbols. You could be different thing. You could even be objects in your dream, inanimate objects. So that's a powerful way to get a different perspective on your dreams if you're stuck. So be that other person, what's it like to be them and feel their feelings and talk to either yourself or somebody else in a dream? What's it like to be the water, be the helmet, be whatever's there for you? Um, And then my favorite is just asking, what can I do differently? I actually gave a whole talk on this. Um, that basically, yeah, you go through the dream, and if it ends in a frightening way, or if there feels like there's something unresolved, so kind of like go back into the dream, like picture it, imagine it, go back in, and then ask yourself, what could I do differently? And then typically, when you're going through your different scenario, again, you'll find answers and pathways that you haven't seen before. And then then you'll get that will offer clarity to you. So that works best with nightmares, like I said, recurring nightmares. Speaking of those, I know a lot of people have those. When I was a teenager, I actually had a lot of recurring dreams. And one of them was about I lived at a lake. So my recurring dreams were being a passenger in a car, and the car would go through the guardrail, crash into the lake, and it would just start sinking. And my senses were so heightened in this dream that I heard the crash, I felt the water coming up, and knew I couldn't open the door. I started feeling that panic, knowing that I wouldn't be able to breathe really soon and that I was going to die, pretty much. and I would wake up literally like gasping for air. So back then, I didn't know what that dream meant. I had no idea. So now it's really obvious what that dream was about for me. So for me, I was a passenger in the car. So as a passenger, I wasn't in control of the car. My parents at the time, my mom especially, they were pretty strict. I'm an only child, so she was a little bit overbearing. So in waking life, I felt like I had no freedom. So in this dream, there's no freedom. Uh, you know, that sinking, the act of the car sinking to me represented that sinking feeling that I had, thinking about not being able to do the things I wanted to, like even hang out with friends or have my own car. There was just a lot that I didn't have that I felt like it. So I was really depressed at the time, actually. I was miserable. Um, so then I'm like, oh, drowning. Ah, I'm drowning in my feelings, and I'm feeling suffocated by my environment. And again, not having any control. So that's totally what that dream, to me, what that meant when I put all those pieces together. And at that time, I just took it as, oh, it's a scary dream. It's, frightening. But what I'm getting at is that nightmares aren't just dreams that are trying to scare you. And to me, there's no such thing as a bad dream. Again, they're trying to help you. Um, and once you work with them and talk about them, even just acknowledging them, I like to say that's important. Um, just saying, wow, I had this dream. This is what it was about. If you have somebody to share your dreams with, I highly recommend that. Talk to your partner, a friend, call someone up. Even if you don't, definitely, I highly recommend a dream journal. I like to use my phone. It's a lot quicker. I type out the dreams, but if you want to voice record, you could do that as well. I always recommend just write down anything, like a little snippet, a symbol, a scene, a person, whatever you see. And even if you don't remember that whole dream in that moment, chances are when you go back later in the morning, later in the day, the rest of the dream will emerge. Something will click and you'll remember. Um, and I never discount even the smallest pieces of dreams because again, what something might seem insignificant, once you explore it and really ask, what does this symbol mean to me? Where is it coming from? How does it make me feel? Feelings are super important. Um, then the dream will come back and it's powerful. And once you start a journal and you keep it going, you'll be able to look back and see how you've progressed, just on your own journey, like spiritually, emotionally, health-wise. A lot of dreams will tell you about your health. Um, so it's really cool to be able to look back and see a progression, to look for patterns, keep track of you can keep track of how often you're in a certain setting, how often you see somebody. Speaking of that, it's kind of cool. I just thought of my fiance, Dave. He used to work for the post office. So he would have many, many, many dreams about being a post office. And for a while, he just thought that was because he worked there for 30 years of his life and he didn't think much of it. Until one day he's like, what what does the post office mean? So what do you do at a post office? So this is how we explored it. And we're like, okay, it's a place where you mail stuff. Okay, well, why would you mail something? What do you mail? You mail letters. And what are letters? They're communication. So he recognized then he had an epiphany that the post office for him was being a messenger, delivering messages, delivering communications. So it wasn't just about, oh, I worked here. A lot of people have those dreams of their previous workplace or their school. Lately, I've been having a lot of dreams about being in school, being in a high school or college. And to me, I'm just taking that as like, okay, I'm learning. I'm in some learning period here. There's something for me to learn. Well, I haven't worked all this through yet. I'm recognizing that there's something there for me to learn. Um, yeah, and other than what's something else I was going to say? Oh, your dream characters.
Carla,
Uh,
um,
Go ahead.
um, I'm just wondering if we could kind of segue into some um, questions and answers and reflections so that we have time for that.
Yeah, sure.
Is there something that you need to say before we do that?
No, I was just going to point out one more thing about dream characters, that when you see dream characters, a lot of times they're also symbolic. They're either a reflection of yourself or they're symbolic, like you'd want to look at their traits and their behaviors and their personality. And a lot of times you'll want to pay attention to that when you're working with the dream.